I will call the meeting of the Conservation Commission for May 17th open. I will entertain a motion to approve our April 19th and May 3rd minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Tim,
Yep.
I'll need to know who made the motion, who seconded it.
Bo made the motions and Carol seconded, and I am taking notes also, and I'll leave them upstairs.
Okay.
And first on our agenda is we have 46 Columbus Ave, notice of intent for replacement of a septic system.
That's right.
I believe we have the engineer.
All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Dave Clint from Collins Civil Engineering Group. I'm here tonight for a septic replacement on 46 Columbus Ave. And as you're looking at the plan, you can see that the yellow is defined as the property line, and the green is the wetland delineation. It was delineated by Brook Monroe. The orange is the 50-foot buffer, and the pink is the 100-foot buffer. The existing system is a failed system, and it's in this side of the property in the grassed and lawn area. That's going to be abandoned right in place. We put the system here outside the 50, as far away from the wetland line as we possibly could in that corner of the lot. There will be a siltation fence that runs down the side of the property line, and it will run over to the existing deck. The septic system is in a previously disturbed area. It's all lawn. It's a grassed and lawned area. The septic system is a pump system. It's going to be about even with the road. You'll see no mound from the road, but from the back of the property, you'll see a slight mound going towards the wetlands. It's not loaded. It's not located in any environmental area, and it's not located in any flood zone. And this is a full NOI.
Did it
John,
fail?
do you have any comments on this one?
I just, can you hear me all right, or is the sound bad?
No, we can hear you.
Really good.
Okay. I have no issue with the project, and I hope that everybody that who's in the meeting can see the screen, or aren't we sharing it?
No, we're not seeing your screen. Hold on.
Let me bring it up.
Did the system
Tim, cancel yours.
fail because it
Yep.
failed, or is it because
Yeah, it failed. It's.
are they selling?
I'm not sure what they're doing.
While he's doing that, I do have just one question. I'm familiar with the site. Have you talked to the town at all? Because it looks like there's a natural drainage spot that does come off of the road across that property. And I'm afraid that if the natural topography of the road dumps the water across their property, that it's going to be ponding right there where the septic system goes.
Actually, we have an elevation of 78 and 75.1. Yeah, that's the street grade, and our top of our system is at 74, so it should flow.
Okay,
Yeah, it will flow over.
It looked like
it's going to
natural-
be flat. Yeah,
It's
And
not
if it needs to get
mounted.
addressed.
yeah. It is mounted, but it's only mounted in the back, where it drops off quickly.
What's the grade on the back?
The
Okay.
grade in the back is 71, and we're going up to 74.
So as it flows, where will
The water will go back to the wetlands just
it'll
as it
go
always
over
has.
the,
Yeah.
And it's all lawn behind there anyways, right?
Yeah.
I just figured before you went too far, if you needed to talk to the town to figure
Yeah,
out
there's
drainage
not gonna
easements
be
or
any-
changes, or,
There's
yeah.
not going to be any mounting before the street. There would be.
Yeah, 'cause
but it's failed, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, that was my only concern. Anybody here in the audience for this hearing? All right. Any other questions, commissioners? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
Motion to close.
Second.
Moved and seconded to close. Entertain a motion to issue a standard order of conditions.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have 217 Crescent Street for a notice of abbreviated wetland area delineation. And this is the NRAD, and what we're doing here tonight is just certifying where the wetland line is on the property.
Hi, I actually did not bring something.
We'll use the chair. There you go.
There we go, and I can sort of show us so
that.
the, I'm sorry?
I would have left mine up
Oh,
there.
that's all right, this
I
will
hope
work.
that's
I don't want to
good.
hold you up any longer. For the record, my name is Claire Hogebone with LEC Environmental Consultants, here representing the applicant, the Drunas Brothers, for the application to confirm wetland boundaries, which include bordering vegetated wetlands, so BVW, or an isolated vegetated wetland, or IVW, along with the bordering land subject to flooding boundary on the site, or BLSF. I'm just abbreviating that because I'll probably shorten it while I talk the rest of the time. And then lastly, the mean high water line associated with a potential vernal pool. So the site is comprised of 3 parcels. We have one parcel that is identified as 217 Crescent Street. That's right off Crescent Street and at the intersection here of Old Crescent, which currently contains a single-family dwelling and paved driveway. The second parcel part of the site is the larger parcel behind that, which is identified as 0 Crescent Street. That is a largely undeveloped site and is the parcel that contains all of the wetland resource area boundaries. So this sheet I'm showing before you is really the southern portion of the site, if you can see that portion on the bottom, but we have Crescent Street extending in this direction, and our north arrow here, so this is showing north. I'll just explain what's happening in the southern half of the site before I get to the northern half. So the southern half of the site has a bordering vegetated wetland boundary that essentially runs from the southwestern portion of the site and meanders from basically southwest to east, where we have Mill Pond running along the eastern portion of the site, just off-site. It does extend on-site in some portions, but it is entirely contained within the BVW. Within the BVW, we have identified 4 islands here. These are upland islands that we are including in our request to confirm the boundaries of as well. So that is really the southern portion. I'm just going to move to the northern portion of the site. So this is essentially continuing north from that sheet 1. And we still see Mill Pond along the eastern portion of the site. We did delineate the bank associated with Mill Pond, but since it's entirely located within the BVW, we are not requesting confirmation of that boundary at this time. So what you'll see here is sort of the northern boundary of that same wetland system I was describing on page 1. So ultimately the wetland bifurcates the entire site from west to east, or sort of in a southwest northeast direction. And as you can see, the wetland runs in a north direction and sort of encompasses this northeastern portion of the site, again with Mill Pond entirely contained within it. We have an isolated wetland just north of the BVW boundary, and then just within this portion of the wetland, we have our mean high water line associated with a potential vernal pool. We did our evaluation of the wetland boundaries at, off-season times of the year, so we didn't have a chance to do any vernal pool surveys ahead of this application. So during this review, we'll do some site evaluations to confirm the presence or absence of any obligate breeding species. And then just lastly, I wanted to point out there is a little wetland here that's identified as an F series that is a part of the larger BVW system. It kind of meanders off-site and back on-site. So quite a bit of work there and some wetlands there, but I'll just turn that over to the conservation, I guess, for any questions from any of you or John or the public.
John, you want to go first?
At this point, the applicant has submitted quite a few for the delineation. So rather than hiring the 53G to do a review of the line, I plan to walk the line and make any adjustments or approve any of those flags without hiring a 53G. I think it's only fair to the applicant if they're submitting such IP. So I have not been able to walk the site yet, and I plan to when I return. So I'm going to recommend continuance on this until the June 7th meeting.
Okay. Any commissioners have any questions at
Just
this
to get the
point?
location right, when I'm thinking, that one house that was right there.
On the first page?
First page, is that old farmhouse?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and then you're just talking about everything out.
Everything
Back.
out back behind it, right,
You mentioned a vernal pool, but
Mhm.
it's not certified.
correct.
Are they working towards certifying it, anyone, or
That's
not?
where our survey during this review, if we identify any obligate breeding to warrant it to be certified, we could
I
certainly.
mean, is that something that you're responsible for?
Correct.
It is.
We'll
So
work on that through this since we've pointed that out in our application.
what changes if it's certified?
Ultimately, under the Wetlands Protection Act, if the vernal pool is certified, there is a 100-foot buffer zone that extends up to the BVW boundary, or even the flood zone boundary, but it adds protection to that mean high water
So
boundary.
how do you
within
define the
wetland.
vernal pool, the high water mark?
Yes,
And then you go 100 feet out
correct,
from that?
right.
If it isn't certified,
Just
Then-
what-
I
just
believe
be
your
the
bylaw
50?
has
It would be an
protection.
isolated
Just a-
vegetative wetland.
just
Well,
a-
it's within the BVW
Right,
itself,
so-
so it would ultimately be, a depression within the BVW.
oh, it's in the BVW
Correct.
anyway, so.
Right.
Would the 100 even matter?
It doesn't extend beyond the BVW boundary
Anyway,
itself,
so,
whether
okay.
it's certified.
All right, thank you.
Anybody in the audience have any questions at this point? Okay. June 7th, work for you for continuance?
Certainly.
All right. All those in favor of continuing to June 7th?
And what are we waiting for then?
John to do the walk
Oh,
around to
did he
certify
say,
to make sure the
mention
flags are in place.
53G?
No, not to do.
He didn't mention that,
He
did he?
did,
Yep,
but he said that he wasn't good because of the high fee that they've already paid,
Yeah.
that he was going to avoid that.
I
He was gonna
understand.
walk the line
Okay.
himself.
They're
Yep.
doing it.
I got
just
you.
like the other one we did on West Street Extension.
Right.
He said he'd have time and be able to
Right.
take care of that, so.
So we need a motion
Motion to
to,
continue to June 7th.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank
So
you.
moved.
And
Thank you very much.
I'll coordinate with John, because we need to take a little longer and we need to continue. I'll work with him on
Okay,
that.
yep,
Great.
perfect.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, John.
Right, next on the agenda, we have continued public hearing for 0 United Drive for notice of intent for stormwater permit.
I'm going
Yep.
to recommend that be continued to the June 7th meeting while the peer review process is still ongoing.
And I have the same recommendation in a letter tonight. I just wanted to bring the board up to speed on where we're at and what we're doing and what the
Sure.
agenda is. So we finally got a date for the planning board. It's going to be June 1st. So the June 7th meeting will work very well with their comments coming back to us. And then we can share those comments with you. I have the whole package for the review and the comments that we received from the review engineer. That's going out this week to him, so he'll have a couple of weeks to review it. And I addressed all his comments so he can review the address of the comments. So that's kind of where we stand. And actually, this kind of works out in a good way as far as timing is concerned. The June 1st meeting, we hope to get on the 18th, but it's the 1st. But that just works with the Conservation Commission. So I guess we'll see you on the 7th, and we'll have the plans, and we'll go over all the comments that the engineers have provided for us.
So what are you going in front of the planning board for specifically?
Planning board has the site plan review process for a special permit working in the Zone 2. So, and I'm going to, they're going to be, it's going to be transparent with the review engineer. Their comments will be in front of the planning board as well.
So hopefully, like you said, timing was,
Yeah, hopefully the timing works, yeah. Yep. So I have a letter here. I know that I usually email John, but I just thought I'd bring a letter tonight and bring you guys up to speed.
Thank you.
great, thank you. Any questions, comments? Not, I'll entertain a motion to continue to June 7th.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
All right, now we have continued public hearing for off West Street for the other delineation.
Does the agenda indicate that that's already been continued to the 7th?
Yes.
Yep. So that one's continued.
So,
Administrative, what, let me ask this, what are you here for?
33, all West Street, yep.
And are you for the same one?
586 Manley Street,
Okay, well, 586 is next on the agenda. So, John, do you want to do 586 Manley Street?
586 Manley Street has turned in a site plan showing the existing conditions. It also has, they submitted the as-built of the restoration area. And I need time to review both of those plans, and due to the medical leave that I'm on currently, that'll have to be continued to the next meeting.
Okay.
What was the background on that, just briefly again?
It was the old
That was the,
landscaping place.
yeah, the site development that wasn't permitted, and then they had a violation fee that was involved with it.
The
and
trailers and so
part of it,
forth?
they had to come up with a set of plans.
Gotcha. Okay. I remember.
So I will entertain a motion to continue this to June 7th.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Continued to June 7th. Thank you. You said 33 West Street? You want to do that one next, John? Since we have
Which
somebody
one is
here.
that?
For 33 West Street,
Oh, okay, yeah.
unpermitted tree cutting, additional information and discussion.
All right, the homeowner had come in and last week, I believe it was, and presented a couple of plot plans that show that that backyard is had a above-ground pool in it some years ago. And we had indicated to her that we should have the wetland lines delineated by the botanist. And when I saw that there was a pool, I suggested she come in and hear some comments from the commission. The pool is no longer there, but years ago there was one. And if the botanists were to flag the wetland, I'm sure it would be, that pool would have been within feet of the wetlands for treatment. And does the commission want to have that just be put up or disturbed by putting the pool back in that area? So right now, that area is pretty much wild vegetation. It's been overgrown for a number of years now. So I didn't want her wasting money with a botanist if she would be able to use anything more than where the shed is now, and no box.
I'm thinking the pool,
Again, extra money.
John, the pool probably went in after the Wetland Protection Act and our bylaw went into effect. Probably at some point, it probably didn't pre-exist. So it shouldn't have been put there to begin with, is my guess. And now that it's gone and been able to revegetate, it's going back to its natural state.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be my
If-
guess.
If Marguerite is in the meeting, she may have a copy of the plot plans with her.
No, she didn't bring one with her.
Okay.
Do you know when that pool went in?
The date when it was 2001.
2001.
And when you bought the place, the pool was not
It
there?
wasn't there.
Okay.
It looks like a tree.
Came down on it, and then so it was an above-ground pool. They put in at some point, probably in the 90s or 2000s, maybe. I mean,
That's a good
in
question.
2001.
Let's assume it was put in after.
Right, after
It,
it-
it's an existing pool.
Oh,
It's
okay.
showing like the shape of it.
Yeah. Sort of a,
Before 2001.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So it was
Well,
probably in the 90s,
at least it was
80s or
an
90s. It
above
was there on a plan. But
yeah.
At least it was an above ground, not a.
So the issue is,
Yeah, what's the issue?
well, do we want to require it to be restored like it was on the plan,
Not.
or do we ask that it be left as wetlands and marked as wetlands?
Because it falls within the 50-foot.
Yeah. It's all basically within the
Yeah.
50
I
foot.
mean, the pool should have never been put there in the first
No.
place.
Even the shed's not even supposed to be
Right,
there.
wouldn't have been allowed to be put there. The shed,
But that's.
it's been there a while, obviously.
It's going to take more of a. It's probably going to cause more of a disturbance to get that thing out of there than just to leave it, let the thing rot.
Right.
right, exactly.
So what's this part, unpermitted cutting of trees on here?
Just, it was like brush.
Yeah, there was,
One-
there
one
was
tree.
some older trees. Basically, there weren't any big trees. It was like brush and debris.
Oh, I
And it
know.
looked like they may have cut a couple trees on the neighbor's property,
Yeah,
which
nothing
is
big.
Okay.
yet to be determined with the condo association and how they're going to deal with that part of it. But where the pool was definitely within the 50-foot or in the wetland itself, so.
Oh, it's within the 50 foot, so I would say leave it the way it is, and let it grow back. Because you can't put
So
nothing there anyways, and you
It's
can't.
filled and, I assume,
Huh?
pool,
No,
was it an
no,
above
no,
ground?
It was an above-ground pool that looked like they just put it right on,
And it's
On the
gone?
ground.
Yeah, and it's gone.
now, so.
Oh, I just let it go back.
Well, it's all within the 50 foot, so. Can't do anything you can't do anything out back there anyways, really.
No. So we just let it grow back to its natural state?
so John, yep,
If I might interject, when Marguerite came in, I explained to her that it was my opinion that basically from the end of her shed all the way back to the rear of the property was wetland, and that she should probably put up a fence along the walkway to the shed and not disturb the rest of the land. That's when she came back a little while later with the plot plan doing the pool. Per the discussion that I'm hearing tonight, perhaps it's still a waste of money to hire a botanist. Maybe she should go along with my suggestion where she could still utilize the shed if she wants to, but basically all the rest of that is wet. And I can't see having her spend money from a botanist. Then my opinion is, just from what I've seen in wetlands, and I would probably argue with a botanist if they tried to say anything differently.
Yeah.
Obviously, that would have to be a process that would need to be followed to discern which opinion holds in this particular case, but usually I'm not that far off with my opinion on where wetlands are, so I just don't want her to waste a lot of her money on it.
Do you plan on doing something with that shed?
It has tools in there, like tools
Okay.
for cutting and tools for maintaining the nitride.
Okay, I thought it was just.
so,
something
yeah,
that
no, I
was
mean,
there.
if you want to still have access to it, we're not going to deny you access to it or deny
I didn't think
keeping
there was
the shed.
anything in it. I thought it was just collapsing. Yeah, so like a walkway, like John
Right,
said,
I
would be
mean,
nice.
What prompted this whole,
the neighbor,
It's in the back.
the condominium neighbors
In
called
a way-
us saying somebody was cutting.
I didn't know it was.
In a
an
way, it's good
association.
to help, but
Yeah. No, because, no, let me explain. The issue that we're having, because the previous owners, they literally made it a dumping
yeah.
area.
yep.
And it was concerning because I have small children. I don't know what's, meaning from there. And I don't want anybody to be losing and passing out. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let me clean up back there, remove all the rubbish and find out if there's any,
Mhm.
And then that's when the neighbors had an issue. I wasn't there, I was at work, but my sister was videoing and he's like, oh, this.
Yeah, and looking at the pictures, there was debris.
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah,
tossed
there's a bunch of
in the
junk,
back
yeah.
there. And so by cleaning it up,
Yeah, there's tires and it's
Yeah.
horrible.
In a way, that way it was good.
Yeah, I know.
At least there was nothing big that you took down, so it can all just grow back natural.
Gotta get back online.
But yeah, I think
Just
that-
can you just refresh it?
So to clarify, did John ask you to make a pathway out to the
Yeah.
shed?
Basically behind the shed, straight across.
Okay.
Anything like that, just put a little roll up.
Okay.
But then my issue is because we have ticks, because I've been bitten and mosquitoes.
Right.
So how do we address that aspect
the town flies over the areas and sprays the yards. We get ours done for free, so,
of it, please?
I mean,
'Cause I've been- I was-
there's not much you can really do with the area around. It's all, yeah, there's kind of like a, there's nothing you can really do about it.
The association
Can you
have
click
any
on the
rules about?
WB Town
No.
one? That's just your video connection.
yeah, no, I was trying to reset, come on.
It's all right, take your time.
You got me itching now with ticks.
I found like one week I had to run to the.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? 'Cause I noticed you were on the guest. So,
I don't think any of the other boards are even doing this, are they?
if we click on the town, that's the
I
more
don't believe so.
stable.
The assessors is doing it.
Who is it?
The assessors, they're doing it. They're on the cable channel. Selectmen obviously are.
Are they doing Zoom? No Zoom.
Oh, I don't, you can,
Okay,
yeah,
so now
because
you're
you
on,
can,
and
Okay.
then, yeah.
No,
so now
if it's
you can
zooming
just
on.
Go back to your.
because you can watch it on, I was watching the last meeting on the phone, on my phone.
Live?
Yeah, live.
Really?
So the Conservation Commission isn't in charge of spraying or anything
I
like
saw it
that?
on YouTube
So
Yeah, that was probably
we don't do
after.
that.
after.
Yeah, and then they put it
Correct,
on
then?
there. What's that?
Correct, we don't have anything to do with spraying. I didn't think so.
No. Nope.
So,
But, I mean, like I said, the town does, they do it so many times a year. Like I said, we get our yard done, it's for free, and they just call them up, I forget what it is.
What do they do again?
They spray. So say if you're having a party,
Bottom right.
they'll come over and
Invitation.
Okay,
they'll spray the yard.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. But I don't want them to spray.
You have to stand out there and go like this, and then the plane dumps it. and it goes by.
Yeah.
I heard it a couple weeks ago.
Doesn't that kill birds and everything else?
Well, the stuff that they
All
get
right, you're
nowadays
back.
is supposed
Sorry about that one.
to be good for the,
It's all right.
it's
So-
supposed to kill ant, that, who knows?
So at this point with John's
Go outside and
recommendation,
breathe
you'd
the
be
air and
able
it
to
can kill
use
you.
basically from the
Sometimes.
shed, the walkway, and then everything.
Yeah,
So
but
that-
back.
don't have to add more.
That
True.
area is not my, part of my property? or
It's,
is-
where the pool area was your property, it is your property. But because it's within the wetland or within the 50-foot, you're not supposed to touch it or you're not supposed to disturb it. At this point, if you wanted to clean any of the debris, the trash and that stuff out, that would be fine. But as far as keep cutting it and disturbing it, you're not supposed to.
Yeah, branches and,
I mean, the only thing, as John said, if you hired a botanist to come in, flag the wetlands, and then, once you know that, go 50 feet from that to find out where the jurisdiction would end. It's probably not gonna change much from where it is now, and to have you spend the money.
Not worth the
That part,
expense.
No, the main reason why I'm asking is because there's a tree that looks like it's all, looking like soon it's gonna give up. Because it's on my property. I don't want if something happened and it, breaks and, you know what I mean? And I'm in trouble for it.
No, if-
I'm not allowed to touch anything. You know what I mean?
If you want to have John stop and take a look, or
Yeah.
one of us can take a, if we do allow hazardous trees or dead trees or damaged trees to be taken down within a wetland area, especially if it's gonna fall on a house or property.
Right.
So
That's my fear.
there is a process to allow you
Because
to,
one part of it is like just hanging
Yeah,
there.
before you cut them though,
just let us know that you wanna do
Say
it.
something. Or somebody else will be videoing you. Then you'll get a violation fee.
Thank you.
Fine.
you're all set.
It wasn't a problem, we just glad you came in and glad you talked to John.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gives me a lot of
Thank you.
fun. Thank you.
Good.
Bye.
And what are you here for?
I'm just waiting for my engineer off 44 South Main Street.
So he's not here yet then.
No, he said about 10 minutes.
Okay.
He said he's towards the end, I guess.
So, John, we have 561 Walnut Street for
Years ago, there was a room for 561 Walnut Street for a septic system upgrade, and it was never, it was completed but never turned in for compliance. And as you may recall, 561 is currently on a watch list, or I guess notified that there were activities out there near the wetlands. I went out and did my inspection. I reported that at the last meeting. And they're currently preparing a site plan that shows what they've done and what they plan to do in the future, and they'll file with us at that point. This is separate. It's an older DEP file number, and we've received all the documents, so I'm recommending issuing it to compliance.
Anybody have questions on that one?
Oh, so it's all set to issue
Yeah.
it then?
Yeah. We need to close it so we can open a new one, and
Oh, okay, yeah.
so at this point, I'll entertain a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for 561 Walnut Street.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Next, 389 West Center Street, septic discharge violation and an update. Have you heard anything from the lawyer?
So after the last meeting, I sent them the letter saying that they are not going to receive any relief from the commission as far as reduction of fines, and that they need to provide pumping records and that kind of thing. And they responded. There's a check for the violation fines that they approved, and they provided the pumping records. And they also informed me that they have a contractor who's going to start work. I thought they said this week, but I'm not around now, so I'll be able to report to you at the next meeting. But they are moving ahead now, and I'm going to still keep an eye on what they're doing out there, and if there's another violation, we'll send them a note. But they have responded, and they seem to be moving faster now to get this straightened out.
I did notice that the area was marked off. There are cones and stuff, so somebody's doing something.
Trying to keep it
Good.
aware. We went up there last night and didn't see anything coming out of it.
Under the parking lot, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't see anything coming out though, so.
They're pumping, yeah. All right.
Next, we have the proposed minimum water table bylaw for discussion and to set a public hearing.
I'm recommending that after that meeting's discussion, where everybody seems to be on board with proposed wording and requirements, that we have a public hearing scheduled for June 7th.
Anybody
That'll
have?
be the public.
Yep, that'll be the public hearing, so we
Okay.
can So I'll entertain a motion. We request a public hearing for the minimum stormwater table bylaw.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that.
Mo moved, and second, Lee second. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Next, we have 204 River Street, Pratt's Landing site improvements.
Yeah, what's going on with that?
Do we have something to report on that, John, that Ramco's going to be doing some work?
We've received an estimate from Ramco for work, and I had anticipated being able to present that to you this evening, and since I didn't get back into the office to scan it or to prepare it, I'm intending to move this to the June 7th meeting.
Okay. All right. Table that to June 7th.
And just to let you guys know that last weekend I couldn't do it, but we plan on doing it. Nick and I are planning on putting a canoe ramp in Sunday.
Going in.
Going in, yeah.
And you might end up going in the river just to cool off.
It's gonna be hot.
I noticed we do have some invoices, John. And I don't know whether you are aware of any of them, but I can go over them because Kitty did leave me the packet. We have 2 invoices for John's travel. And there is a property maintenance request, and that is recording of plans at the Registry of Deeds for payment. So I'll entertain a motion.
Just
Do you have anything?
to explain the recording of the
Yep.
plan. Years ago, we had Silva Engineering do a survey of the parcel of land just north of South Elm Street that was donated to the commission. And the plan was prepared. We had the original in the office, and it never got recorded. And in cleaning out miscellaneous information and organizing the office in anticipation of July, I discovered it was still sitting there and it hadn't been recorded, so I recorded it for the commission.
Is that Hasiotis?
And that's why we have the $105 recording fee.
Is that out there like Hasiotis with all the 40 Bs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any questions on any of them? And I'll entertain a
That
motion.
would be the parcel, by the way.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll entertain a motion to approve all 3.
Motion to approve all 3.
Second.
Moved in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Alrighty. We are just waiting on an engineer for 44 South Main Street.
Guess we can,
So I will.
move it around.
No, I got a question on lamp, up there, lamppost. The 2 houses in the end, the farthest one in the back, I don't know if that's lot 7, and the other one that's next to it, that's got just the foundation. I went up and looked, and the markers are, the conservation markers are up, but not at the end, way at the end. Not behind that one that I was talking about, and not behind that, not the front one, but the second one that they're doing,
Yep.
up against the woodland line.
Okay.
Those markers aren't in, up there, so.
So John, on that development for lamppost, had you been down to see if they had the markers up before construction?
I think they did, didn't they?
Lamp post?
Yeah, for lamppost.
They do have
Yes, they
them,
were in before they started.
Okay.
but they're not all the way at the end, they aren't.
But they're not all the way at the back, at the end of it?
They don't go around they don't come around.
The top.
Aren't they supposed to be so many feet away?
So, everywhere the property has a 50-foot buffer, the pipes were put in on both the southwesterly and the northeasterly portion of that property. The direct back did not have wetlands, so the back part, as you go straight up,
Okay.
the cul-de-sac does not have.
All right, so the wetlands were far enough away that they didn't.
All right, that's why.
Thank you.
Are we supposed to initial the pages?
Usually something like that, a couple of them, and just do.
Sorry.
No. Don't you sign it, it's all that counts.
Do you want to, looks like John's got the 44 South Main plan up. Do you want to start without me?
I didn't know that
Okay.
either.
All right,
I
we're
must
still
have
waiting.
slept
We
with that
can.
part of the class.
I know. I got a question about going out to see these sites. Do you have to wear official badge or something? Just
You can go out.
I can go out?
I have, way back when I got on, I have a one that I can put on or just show, but I was out there tonight on the way home, I stopped in lampposts, I walked around the whole, couple back lots and all that stuff.
Because I was thinking of doing that, but I didn't know if I was allowed to.
Yeah, you're on the conservation.
Yep, you're allowed.
If they
anytime.
want to tell you no for some reason, you can just come and call. You remember. Somebody.
That's
the,
certificate of compliance for
We ever
Walnut
talked
Street.
about getting cards?
I do have one at home, I don't know where it is though now.
I made one up, but I
Did
mean,
ya?
it'd be nice if we had them made up.
I have one with my picture on and everything.
I'm gonna
been
get a
asked.
hat
I've
that
been
says
asked
Conservation
before.
Commission.
It's fine.
I mean, it's not a big investment. but-
No.
And this is
The
with the septic
canoe
system
thing
on
that you're
Columbus
putting in
Ave.
the river, where is that?
You know where Carol's house is? You know where the farm is?
The who?
The farm on the
Yep,
farm. Well, actually, you know where the Keith house is?
yes,
Right across the street.
okay,
Right next to Carol's house.
okay.
Oh, you don't know where I live.
I don't.
Okay, if you go down, say if you leave here tonight,
Yep,
go straight across,
Yep.
get on river, go down
Helps
to
if I
where
can, too.
it'll be light enough by the time we get out of here. So if you go down by the farm, keep
yep,
on going, you'll see the river obviously on your
left,
left. Go until you come to the last house on your left, which is the White House, which is her house. You'll see the landing right there on the piece of property just sitting there. And then I'll just put it in with a tractor and,
so, right after, if you start here, at the park, and in the river, this is sort of linked to that, and you go underneath the South Street Bridge, and then underneath the Forest Street Bridge, and about 100 feet or so past the Forest Street Bridge, the river starts to bend, and there's a huge tree through there that
Oh,
actually
yeah.
prohibits any sort of traffic. Is
Yeah.
there anything that we can
what can,
do with that? Because, you know, like, I mean, I only know about it because I actually had my daughter in the canoe with it, and we were like, and there was nothing, you know, I couldn't go any further, and it was like, okay,
think,
5-minute trip.
didn't Cross have that issue with the tree and they pulled it out or they tried pulling it out with a tractor or something like that?
I think we could just get in with a
I know,
handsaw or something.
I know they have
Oh.
cut chunks of them out
Yeah.
and then opened it up that way.
Yeah, I don't think we need to remove the whole thing. I think if we just, a lot of the high part of the tree, the branches and stuff,
Oh,
we could just kind of clip out and open up the access.
yeah, if you can do that in a, canoe or something like that.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
don't know like what we can or can't do. I know I was talking with Nick online,
Yeah,
and he was like, "Ooh, yeah," like, and
If you connect with Nick Anderson,
yeah.
yeah,
he's involved with a group that actually has been trained and certified to do river and stream openings. And
Oh.
I know he's done them before.
Yeah.
And so
Okay. I didn't realize
Yeah,
that. That's
he'd be a
good to know.
one to talk to, but, I mean, if you get in there.
I'm
with-
surprised he hasn't gone down there to,
well, we
Yeah.
had talked about it. We were trying to set up a time
Yep.
last fall or whatever.
I mean, if you get in a canoe, I mean, if you're going down there, you're gonna saw, it's not gonna hurt nothing, because it is blocking.
Yeah.
I think there is issue though, whether or not you're supposed to do it or not.
Well, there was a little bit of hubbub, and
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, but okay, then, so if it blocks the riverway for ducks, and they can't get through or something like that, you know, you gotta do something, right? So it's not gonna be
Yeah, it's not like I'm looking, yeah, I don't think we need to remove the whole tree or anything.
Yeah.
We can-
I mean, if you get a machine in there and you're like,
Well, yeah,
that's a different name, but if you're getting.
you're talking about shallow boats anyways, you know,
Yeah.
you just need to make sure a foot under the water is clear and you're
Yep.
good.
Well, the water's a good height now. It's not always as high.
True.
Well, that's, yeah, that'd be the other issue. All right, I'll check with, I'll try to reconnect with Nick.
If you want, I mean, him and I are gonna go probably meet up 10 o'clock on Sunday morning to put the thing in, so wanna come, if you got nothing, you wanna meet us there, you can, and talk to him about it, and we can,
Yeah,
he'll be there.
this Sunday, 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do that.
Good. So if you, like I said, if you leave here tonight,
Did you approve 2 sets of minutes or just one
you can
tonight?
follow me if you want.
We had 2 that
and,
we,
we can
Yeah.
come over and
Yeah.
just show you
Okay,
where it is.
yeah, I'll do that.
And Carol's going that way too, so
We still mow that section.
just don't go on her property because she gets really mad.
I get really mad.
She comes out with a hatchet.
So we're waiting.
we're just waiting for,
Yeah, my engineer, he's probably 5 minutes behind
anybody else have any other business?
Well, I was mentioning getting cards made for each of the members. I mean, I've been asked 2 or 3 times. I've had some made up, you know, but they're not official. But I was just wondering if it might be a good idea to have
Yeah, I mean, if we have the
something
right
on us.
to go and visit these sites, what's to
Yeah.
prevent
Yeah.
that person, you know, just some sort of formal ID maybe?
Yeah, looks a little more official.
It's in the budget.
I can get T-shirts made up.
Carol, now you're going over
No,
that.
no,
Just
it's-
Just relax.
Just saying.
Well, the only other thing I
So
have to
what
bring up, and I'll ask, and because my mind isn't what it used to be, but, and maybe John can remember, the Gibson property, when the 3 house lots along South Street were up, that was under chapter land, wasn't it, if I believe?
Yeah.
Because I'm under the assumption that I've heard that the rest of the Gibson property is in the process of being sold with a
You know.
purchase and sale and to be developed. And if it's under chapter land, I'm hoping we're gonna see a letter beforehand for refusal. But I heard rumors that it's already been designed and that a developer has purchased. So I don't know where that's sitting, but it's something we may wanna look into.
As far as I know, it's under.
Yeah. But it's not a done deal if we haven't seen
That's
the right
right.
to refusal on chapter land.
So what do we do?
Well, the town at that point can exercise its right to purchase at fair market value the chapter land if we so
Oh.
wish to.
How big is it roughly?
If I remember right, that's like 38 or 40 acres or
Can they
something
go-
left in there.
Can they go, they can't go under the power lines? Is it power lines?
I don't know if the power lines are on theirs or the neighbors.
It is on the neighbors, but I don't know if it goes that way or not.
Right, I think it goes back and then at an angle, so it may
Oh.
cross underneath the far backside. But I just think the town should at least have its right to review it and see.
Would it be of interest?
And I'm just throwing this out there because I said the last time when the 3 parcels we should have looked at.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
knowing, I hate to see farmland go out of farming, but this is a piece of land close to the center of town, and whether we want to admit it or not, we're gonna be building a new school before long.
Yeah.
It's gonna have
Oh,
to
I knew
happen
that was
with the
gonna happen
development.
when
Well,
Or
hopefully
we
our
need more housing
town
for
planner
seniors.
will be looking at those things in
And this
great
is a-
detail, yeah.
Central location close to the center of town.
Well, you know, they've already started the ball rolling.
Right, I know, we have a town
Yeah.
planner was approved, but if we don't
No,
bite
but I
the
mean,
apple.
The new school
Why-
has
okay.
already begun.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the
What?
superintendent mentioned that he's already, it's
Put
probably
it out of the bag?
4 or 5 years away,
Yeah.
but they've already started.
So they're gonna knock down the Spring Street School and add on, right?
That's the idea. I don't think it's firm or
Smart
anything,
idea.
but
Should have done that at the
So-
beginning.
All right, we have, oh, okay, we'll let you guys meet for a minute, or are you guys ready? Because we're just,
Oh, I thought you were going, okay, I'm sorry.
no, we're waiting for you.
Oh,
Oh, no.
No, that's okay.
Jeez, don't go
We're just
anywhere.
shooting the breeze to keep
I didn't recognize you
time.
from behind.
No, I'm sorry.
No.
No, John's remote tonight.
Oh, there he is.
You've been sitting here waiting, no,
You
don't
can
move
put it up
yet.
over here. if
Yeah,
you
you
want.
My sincere apologies.
That's
I
okay.
came out of Providence tonight. It was
No,
a
we're-
little hectic.
We kept the meeting moving, so we get out of here early and
Thank you. Thank you for your time for the informal discussion on this project. Walter Hermano tonight, representing Jordan Camara. He's the owner of Outdoor Living Materials. Jordan is pursuing redeveloping this piece of property. This is a former Bunsey's pitch and putt and golf course, and there was a little go-kart track there in the past. Earlier this year, January, we had the resource areas delineated for this project. And what we've tried to lay out here, I've met with John. John, I hope you're feeling okay. I hope you're feeling better. I met with John ahead of time. We got some valuable input, to put on the plan, what would be presentable for discussion. And the project is such that the client would like to build a building over here on the uplands of the property. This light blue line is the floodplain, which is elevation 49. Heavy blue line is where the Willowbrook meets the town river. And the other heavy line with the indicators is the limit of the wetlands. So he's staying as far away from the resources as possible for the building, for some proposed pavement, for a septic system shown in this rectangle over here. In a few minutes, I'll let him explain what his intended uses of the property. I'll just try and explain the parameters. He has materials that he would stockpile on pallets underneath the easement, which is the electric lines. He also has several smaller piles over here, stockpiles of earth and materials, typical round piles, mulch and so forth. And in between he has bins, which if everyone's not familiar with the bins, you get to store your material inside these concrete blocked off areas. He would have an entrance right here off of the existing curb cut inside of the South Main Street entrance, as well as up here. One for his building, one for the yard. This entire yard, all within the black line, would be the limits of the yard. We have stayed as far away as possible from the environmental wetlands resources. We have a 200-foot riverfront, which extends all the way out to this area right here, and we have tried to stay as far away from that as possible as well.
But then you're supposed to stay, then that's where the wetland line is then, right?
The wetland line is this blue line right here.
Last time it was hard to see how the delineation was going.
Okay.
When we looked, that makes it easier.
So what's the black line there you just said?
This black line right here
Yeah.
is the proposed limit of the yard,
And what's that dotted one just above it, going right through the bottom of it?
right here.
No, down the bottom.
Down with the two crosses.
This is the 100-foot wetland buffer,
All right.
all right?
It's okay, so that's a
That's a 100-foot buffer. I have a couple extra copies. Would it help if I showed you one?
We have,
You got it right here, but I can see it better on that.
Okay, okay.
we're just trying to figure out which lines are which lines.
No, understood.
Because-
I'll start from the beginning over here at the wetlands line, the blue line. We come and show the 25-foot wetland buffer. We have a 50-foot wetland buffer.
So,
Then we have the proposed limit of the yard, and then we have a 100-foot wetland buffer.
Okay.
Proposed limit of the yard, I've kept that beyond the 50-foot buffer. The 25 foot's in the regulations. I understand the commission would prefer to see activities remain 50 feet or more in the wetlands. Keep in mind, we have not designed out the plan. We don't have all stormwater management structures on the plan.
Right.
Again, this is very preliminary. We have two isolated vegetated wetland areas right here. These would be areas that would be filled in. That would be the proposal. At best, one of them is about a foot deep and the other is about 6 inches. They hold some water during the wet season.
has it got vegetation there that indicates it's wetland?
Yes.
So then you shouldn't touch it then.
Well, these are the environmental resources that we've already had delineated. back in January. And we have over in this corner right here, proposed replication.
So you're gonna put the propose everything basically is in the flood zone in that whole area, except for the building.
That's correct.
Everything's in the flood zone.
Everything's in a flood zone.
Everything is in the flood zone.
Right.
Yes.
But because there's no structures and it's just temporary storing quote-unquote materials.
But you're gonna be
It-
using trucks and machinery in there, right?
Mostly, yeah, some equipment, but most other, like, we're gonna have some piles, in the winter months, we don't do.
So like
material.
landscaping
Yeah,
business,
landscape material, all natural stone, palletized product.
so mowers and stuff. and-
No mowers, no, like.
So where you gonna store the equipment then?
The equipment will be up at the top with the building.
It's gonna be up top where the building is?
Yeah.
Because the building has
There's
two
not much
20-foot bay
equipment.
doors.
There's,
Yes,
it'll be
that's
like a
correct.
loader, a forklift.
So it's gonna be like an indoor,
Yeah, yep.
that's what the building
And
is?
then we're gonna do it, I'm trying to propose a display, for all outdoor.
So what happens if you get like a year, like last year in July, and it floods that whole area, you gonna run the machinery through it?
Most likely, no, I don't think there's gonna.
You're gonna be able, it's gonna wreck your material, isn't it?
No, we can have, I'm sure it can get wet. Yeah, it's all palletized or,
Yeah, then you got
Aggregate.
but the pallets are gonna be in the water.
yeah, that can all get wet. Natural stone, it all can get wet. It's not like it's gonna, the stone itself, it's all natural, granite and type of stone.
I don't know, I just see, it's all in the flood zone to me, and all I see is a big mess, other than the building up front. But that's my opinion.
If I may, when was that heavy flood you were talking about?
I'm talking like last July, all there was is like all of July was basically rain.
Yeah, we did have a wet summer.
We had a wet summer last year, and we had a lot of rain.
I mean, the whole area there didn't flood, but there were a lot of standing puddles that
And-
had a lot of water held in it for extended
And
periods
if
of
you're not gonna
time.
run the machinery through it, and you're gonna wait till the water subsides some, you're gonna be waiting for,
Yeah.
that'll basically, like last year, that whole month was, what are you gonna do? You can't do anything if you're not gonna run machines through it.
But you're looking at leaving the elevation to what it is now.
That's correct.
Yeah.
The area would be removed somewhat, all right, and replaced with a 3-inch aggregate, probably to about maybe 9 inches below the existing surface. And then the top of the surface would be set with a wrap, or recycled asphalt. And this would not increase the elevation, but it would actually provide additional storage due to the 3-inch material. It would be like a reservoir base underneath. So he would have some additional storage proposed, because we have to be very mindful, we cannot fill in any of the floodplain.
Well, you're filling in wetlands.
The two wetland isolated pockets that you're going to replicate will be at the elevation of the depth of the current wetland spots?
They should be.
Okay. I mean,
They should, because the edge of the wetlands is the elevation of the two areas.
So as for me, seeing it as, if you have to replicate something, you're obviously filling in something that you shouldn't be filling in, and you're asking us for basically a waiver to do such that, to make a replication plan where something shouldn't be touched in that area. You should just leave it the way it is.
Isn't replication usually done on an upland?
Yeah.
right, that's what they're
Area.
replicating
But I
in
mean,
the bordering the
I mean, you're
vegetative
giving
wetland.
one-for-one kind of thing.
but it's that close to the way the water is, basically.
And it's also a small enough isolated wetland that it's an allowable swap. It's
But-
not,
But I know what Lee's saying, that area's, you're not going in there anyway, so it's really not an
You
even
shouldn't touch it anyways.
swap.
He's not going up there anyway, so why?
right,
Are you
what
gonna
they
go
have
up
to do
there?
though is take the elevation and match what
No, I
they're taking
understand
away, because it's in the floodplain.
But
and
it
has
shouldn't
to-
be, but those two wetlands shouldn't be touched anyways, if that's I don't know, that's my opinion. It shouldn't be touched,
They must be replicated adjacent to.
provided we allow that to happen though.
Well, I can't propose them elsewhere on the plan.
I understand that.
Along the wetlands line.
Could make the building small and put it up on the corner there.
If I may, let the
Yeah.
owner speak on that for a minute.
How big's the building?
It's 100 by 200.
100 by 200? So if you cut that building in half, put the replication part up there. You wouldn't have to touch that area anyways where it shouldn't be touched. And
The
if
thing
you,
is,
if
that
the,
area is kind of like in the middle. It takes away from so much.
but you gotta remember, the area that you're trying to touch, it's wetland. That whole area is wet.
Yeah.
And
No, I understand.
How much are we talking in terms of area?
87,
Roughly.
8757, and they're gonna replicate at 9200.
For the two.
And again, this is a redevelopment project.
yeah, I'm not trying to sit here and say, I'm not trying to be the bad guy, but we're here trying to protect stuff that shouldn't be touched. And this is a new, basically, it's gonna be a new construction
Yeah.
site. So this is what we gotta look at in the beginning with the new stuff that we can't,
But we don't have firm plans yet, though. This is just a
Right.
Formal discussion.
update.
yeah, I understand, yeah.
John, are you-
This is uplands.
Yeah,
mind
let's see
you.
what
This
John
is not-
says.
That is
There's
uplands,
also,
Yes, anything on this side of
but
the,
you couldn't do anything in there because of the riverfront? Is
Yeah.
that what it is?
It's all.
In the floodplain,
It's all within the flood, and within the
I mean, could you
100-foot.
put storage piles up in there now,
No.
You can't.
up in this area?
it would be impractical to put them up in that area.
But it's not impractical to replicate an area that shouldn't be
But
touched.
You can't go up.
No,
in
you can't go
there
up.
At all, though, can you?
Oh, well, I was mentioning about the asphalt, that whole back there is non-permeable.
It would be within the riverfront area, and under the Wetlands Protection Act, there is at least up to 10% that is allowed to be developed or worked in. Okay? And that comes to a little over maybe 20 or 30,000 square feet, roughly. The riverfront's also protectable under your bylaw, so we also need Conservation Commission to
Yes.
do that. We have an area down here that has significant asphalt, and it's left over from the old track.
That's was the racing track.
The old racing track.
Yeah.
And there's no proposed disturbance of that area.
Mm,
Okay.
It's true.
We have, also on the plan, right here is an easement to provide public access to the town river.
Mhm.
And we've kept that as close to the main road as possible, again, not to infringe on deeper parts of the property. The applicant's hoping that the commission sees that in offering for public access is,
But that is public access. It's been like that, right?
no, this is private property.
Oh, okay, so you're providing
Yeah.
it public
Right, through an easement.
through an easement,
Through
yeah.
an
Which
easement.
would be that second entrance that he
Mhm.
shows on the plan.
now another question, the two buildings that are in that location, are they being removed?
Yeah, except the back one. That one I'm not touching anything against the.
The one that's closest over here to the wetlands, that's to remain. There are several other smaller buildings, 1, 2, 3, that are to be removed.
So that crack was put in without approval, is that pretty much the story?
Oh, no.
It was so, it's been there.
That
It's
should
been
be
there a
done.
long time, yeah.
It's a high elevation too. Than
But if we're gonna redevelop the site, now's the time to look at
But they
what
probably
can be
filled
done to
that
improve
then.
that area.
Well,
And
that's
if
what I'm
he's willing to
wondering.
take down the
What if we
buildings.
clean that area up as a form of replication,
Right.
for instance? You
Then
know,
you're gonna
get rid
pick-
of that.
My only
Hot top.
question is what's the purpose of leaving the 800 square foot building down there? I mean,
I don't know.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna develop it and demo the others, it's already in the floodplain, it can't
Yeah.
be used, it's gonna eventually, to me, fall down, and you're gonna have a liability issue. Why not just get it all cleaned up all at once and do it when you're doing the site?
But then my whole issue is this whole thing is in the floodplain itself.
And so if you're cleaning up and
No, I'm
making
just
it,
saying this whole thing is in the floodplain. The
Right.
whole business is in the floodplain except for the top building.
but it's a redevelopment of a permitted parcel within a floodplain, just like when Betancourt's came in with their plan to do projects within the floodplain, it's a redevelopment. And it's permitted and allowed.
So if
under
we
the wetland
said,
protection.
in order to fill those two isolated areas, if we said, Could you get into that area down there, clean up the old hot top and just fix that area up? That would be a replication of sorts, right?
Right, well, it would be an improvement to
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
and again, attaching the replication area because the elevations need to be changed, because you're not allowed to change the elevation in a floodplain.
Yeah.
So they have to match equal to equal somewhere.
Yeah.
And so, on his plan where he's
Makes
got
sense
those
to
two
you.
little additional pockets would meet equaling that.
Because otherwise, the owner doesn't have to go in there and clean anything up.
No.
right? Yeah.
Wouldn't have to.
Right.
That, no, I think, Paul, you said that
But, I
elevation.
mean, that would
right
be
there
an
is higher
exchange of
than
sorts.
Existing, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
excuse me?
That elevation in the back closest to the river is higher,
Right
the one where the
back
asphalt
Yeah.
is.
there. Oh, down here with the asphalt?
Yeah, so that
No,
elevation,
that's still pretty low.
but it's higher than the middle of the
Could
property.
clean all that out.
It's close to the same elevation. It's slightly lower, but it's very close. It's very flat through here. We go from about 40, 45, 44 down here to 49. We're talking over maybe 300-400 feet easily.
Yeah.
This is not obviously set in stone for a replication area.
Right.
The Commission has some other
Yeah.
areas, wishes, for qualifying for replication.
I think we can work with it.
And it's just very preliminary for
Yeah.
discussion purposes right now.
Right.
The amount of asphalt down here is in the thousands of square feet. All right, a lot of this is open. John made a good point to me. He said, Walter, why don't you just leave that, for traffic to use, the public to use? It's still a durable surface, at least in this portion, for access down to the waterfront.
So is there gonna be parking in this, for this business,
Just around the building.
for people?
Yeah, customers, like, mostly homeowners, some contractors.
So, and then there goes my other thing, so what happens if it floods?
But that's up by
The
the,
parking's
up by
up
the building.
outside
It's
of,
right
Oh,
up
it's
By
gonna
the
be up
main
there.
building.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
It's right up against the building.
Yeah. And then we're gonna do like an outdoor display, mostly like all permeable pavers,
You-
to show different types of
Can you see
material
it?
that sell. and-
Yeah, I can see.
You zoom in?
Yeah, I can
No, it's a
Let me-
it's a
Just
tough
trying to-
area, no doubt
Yeah,
about
it's-
that.
wrap my head around the.
let me ask John, do you have anything to add that we haven't already hashed over?
So the original intent for having them come in tonight was to explain what they're trying to do, see how the commission reacts to what they're planning to do. And from my remote location, it's very difficult to hear the sense of what some of the concerns are of the members who have spoken this evening. So what I'm going to recommend is that you take it under advisement and that we get back to them with some suggestions. It's not official, but suggestions based on what was said tonight. I'll review the video of the meeting that the town does and listen to what some of the members have to say about it, and then I can get back to the engineer before they start doing any more sign work so that we lead them in the right direction.
And I think between what John will come up with and what we've told you
It's
tonight.
feasible, yeah.
And also, where those, I guess it's the power lines, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, the easement.
Is there, that's gonna be used for underneath that, right?
Yeah, yeah, no obstruction, it's just gonna be palletized, so some, like they said, right, you said, Walter, they have to have access to the easement.
Yes. Yeah.
So we could like, if someone says, hey, we need to get to the, under
Get
the
at
power
the
lines, I move
lines,
the
yeah.
product, they come in, do it, they gotta service the power lines, and, you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
We read through the easement deed to make sure we could use it here under the power
Yeah,
lines.
that's pretty much, you gotta follow.
You have a right to use it, you typically can't
Yeah, you can't.
dig down more than 4 feet, and you can't go up more than 12 feet, and you have to allow them access to it whenever they need to within a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah.
I deal with one that's much bigger than this one with National Grid,
Oh,
so
all right.
I'm familiar with easements.
There's no entrance on the east center.
There is, sir, right here.
Oh, there is an entrance.
Yes. So there means an egress and regress around the building. This is for basically service of his larger trucks, because he will have materials that he'll have to unload in the dry. So they'll actually pull the trucks inside the building to do that.
Really?
So,
Yeah, so pretty much like we, not in the building, but we keep some product stored inside, like different types of sealers, cement, poly sands for the joints, edging, different types of product that we have to store inside.
No traffic issues, well, that's not our,
No,
not
it's
our
only like
purview
truck would
anyway,
come
but,
once a week to unload anything in the
Yeah.
building. Mostly on a daily basis is product out stored outside.
so as this goes on, if it does go on, then you're gonna think about stormwater management with drains in there in case something happens to a trailer that comes in and all of a sudden spills hydraulic fluid somewhere. The roof for the building, because it's a big building.
I think Walter, you
Yes, I can speak on that,
Okay.
on both points. The roof runoff, we intend to infiltrate it underneath his
outdoor display.
the outdoor display area right here. It should be full infiltration through the 100-year storm event. And I just advised my client today, with bay doors, it's likely the building inspector will be required to have a floor drain. And
Yeah.
that leads to an industrial wastewater
All right.
holding tank.
Yeah.
Again, all outside of the environmental resources.
No, I understand that, but that's going further, if this goes further on as it goes.
No, it's a good point. It's a good point
Yeah.
to advise them what to expect on.
Because especially if you're storing equipment in there too.
Yeah, it's not, we don't have a ton of equipment, like, it's mostly gonna be just a load.
Even if it's a car.
Oh, yeah, no.
Even if that's something.
Yeah, something, yeah. But I'm trying to make the area a lot more homeowner friendly, presentable. I think the business would be really nice in the center of town, instead of having just a Home Depot or Lowe's.
no more Bunsies.
Yeah. We sell more, products like that.
And you will have probably a planning board review?
Absolutely, sir. We have a special permit that we have to go through with ZBA.
ZBA, yep.
So it's gonna be a
We also
special
have
one, yeah.
notice of intent would be filed obviously with the state as well. We have a water certification application we have to submit with the state. And also we have an Army Corps permit that we have to apply for because we're working within the flood zone.
Yeah.
So there'll be a lot of eyes on this project, and again, we're very early on it.
I hate to be my whole big thing is I'm just thinking of the floodplain. That whole thing is in the floodplain other than that, but that's just me thinking that way right
But
now.
now, that floodplain is that, means every year that thing goes all the way to the easement? I never seen water that high over there.
Last year it
Don't
was
say that.
isolated puddles.
Don't
but-
say that,
Yeah,
because-
knowing the way,
Don't ever say anything like that, because if
But-
it happens, what are you gonna do? Then you're like, I don't know.
and unfortunately, the other thing that
Stupid.
it's going to change is if they take the High Street Dam out down in Bridgewater,
Yeah,
that end of the river is gonna change drastically in elevation.
And that's what we're trying to think ahead of time for something like this to come in and do something like this.
Yeah.
Any kind of business, we're just trying to think of.
No,
But at least you came in ahead of time before you hit everybody else with plans, and you can get it all put together at once, and
Yeah, absolutely. I did walk with the land with my surveyor last year. He was a shorter man, so I helped him out, so I got to know the land very well. And November, late November, there was a tremendous amount of rain. And I saw the river back up. I mean, more water than I've seen. I've been on this project, did test bits in 2016, early in
Wow.
the spring season.
really?
Yeah, we did test bits early, just to make sure the land is, viable, which we do have a particular area over here that we can use for a septic system.
Yeah, I know, I understand that part right there.
But at that time, I didn't see much water. I do see, through the years, I will see a puddle form over here. But last fall was the most water I've seen out on that property for the past 6 years. And it did come up too, and over the bank slightly, along the riverfront.
Because these 50-year flood things, storms, we don't even, I don't even think about even going from that. It's gonna be 100-year automatic,
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned.
Well, let's see what you come up with.
So did we come up with any helpful suggestions about when it does flood, with the trucks going down to those piles? Did we?
He said, no, nothing's gonna be done if it floods.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
mean-
don't, if it floods, it's not.
if there's that much water in there, you're gonna have
Yeah,
more things to worry about than getting into the crushed stone or the pallets of
Okay,
block.
so you just leave it until you can get in
So-
there? Is that what your
Yeah.
plan is?
Yeah.
But I just, then you gotta think if the pallets rot, I'm not saying that they won't, keeping up But if it gets a flood and it rots, stuff's gonna float back into the river.
I mean, the pallets are gonna be heavy enough that, and
No, I understand.
they're gonna be sitting that long
I
underwater.
think
We're
the
in
pal-
serious
yeah,
trouble
yeah.
other places.
No, I
It's only
understand.
gonna be because of the easement, I'm not putting pallets down there, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna have pallets under the easement.
Okay.
So the easement's pretty far up, I think half the easement's only like less than half that's on the floodplain,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Also, for stormwater management, I talked this idea over with John early on. Again, we're not sure if this is gonna be what you see on the plan, but we may put a berm around his yard on that black line.
The limit of work.
Right, in order to contain,
Any kind of soot.
right, it's not to stop flood waters from coming in, there'll be outlets for that. But, you know, if, for example, you started to see mulch, I don't know, trying to move away with the water,
Yeah.
the berm's gonna catch it. And we're mindful that we're changing the use of the property and the operation, and we do not want to have any of this affect the environmental
Right.
protected resources.
This is gonna be, I just don't want, if this happens, it's gonna have to be kind of like a showing point to everybody else, because this is right in the center of town, it's a high flood, it's all in the flood zone. If it does go through, it's gonna be, and we're gonna make sure it's on us, and we're not gonna make it look bad for us, because
I can't either.
it's happened before, and it's just, how come you let that happen? Or people come in, oh, you let this happen, why can't we do it? You gotta follow certain rules, and
I can't think of any other business that could go in there.
Right, in the floodplain. I mean,
Outside of what you're.
to be honest with you, I thought that was just gonna be left and just grown up. If you get the top part, you can put a business up top, but I just thought the rest, you couldn't do anything in that.
Yeah.
I just thought it was gonna be left that way, and that's the way it was gonna be.
yeah, realistically though,
Yeah.
what he's got is one of the few things you could probably come up with to
That's
put
what I
in
mean,
there.
yeah.
I mean,
I have to say, every time I was out there on the property, when you're surveying, you get asked a lot of questions. I saw a lot of people that walk a route.
What do you do?
On 106, yeah. Oh, hey, can you put a fence line in for me, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they would ask, what are you intended to do out here? And what I could reveal was,
Yeah.
his hopes of what to do out there.
Sure.
They were very positive. Everyone.
No, I know,
Stopped me,
yeah.
and we're like, oh, that would be fantastic in that
I get a lot
location.
of customers too from this area, come down to my location now, and there's nobody around here that does what we do.
Where are you now?
We're in Asona, Mass, right
Oh,
off of
Asona, yeah.
24,
Right
so
on.
it's like a 20-minute, 25-minute.
What's the name of it?
Outdoor living.
Oh, right there, right off the highway.
Yeah, it's me.
Oh, okay.
So it'd be that same.
That same concept of that
concept.
yard-wise,
Yep.
and the way
Yeah, like
everything is?
we're not a recycling place, like we don't do anything like crushing or none of that.
So are you moving, or are you
No,
adding
but
a
keep my
second?
location, this would be just a different, just to target more customers up this way, different.
Where are you now?
We're in Asona, Mass.
Right
And
off the
where?
highway.
Asona.
Oh,
if
you're
you head
way
down 24 on the right-hand
On the
side, you
right-hand
should
side,
way
so
down,
the highway
yeah.
drive down.
Is that like exit 10 or something like that?
Yeah.
So we get a highway visibility, a lot of customers from Fall River, Taunton, we target, and we're starting to target a little more people down in the Bridgewater, Easton area.
Yeah.
So I thought this would be a great location, you know? We don't need a huge building, it's not like, there's a big, most of the building's gonna be up top, out of the flood zone. It's good eye visibility, you're not just a box store like a Home Depot and a Lowe's trying to put, stomping grounds in the center of town,
Yeah.
small business, and I thought it would be a good opportunity.
Okay.
All right. We'll let John get some notes to you, and
Roll on.
Hey, John.
thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, thank you.
You're
Commissioner,
welcome.
thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
Have a good night.
You too, thanks. Anybody else have anything?
Not a thing.
If not, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
The motion?
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
So moved. We're done. Thank you, John.
John?